Hello, everybody. Just gonna wait a couple minutes. I know it's Tuesday around noon, Eastern Standard Time. I just got a couple moments to get on here. I know I was supposed to do it like a couple days ago. Life happened, and now I've got a moment to just kind of focus and explain a couple things. It's been very, very, very crazy. The energy is fluctuating in ways that I'm not used to, that I haven't really necessarily seen. And I don't know if any of you are feeling it too, and the collective is getting heavier and heavier. And I can see the unraveling of a lot of 3D dynamics. So in order to place the 4D, 5D in alignment, we have to have these breakdowns of 3D and the bridge, which is 4D, in between the two. Because we don't want to build 5D foundations on a 3D, or 5D buildings on a 3D foundation, because you'd still have that ego-centered stuff. So we need to completely break it down, remove all the pieces, like when you're clearing the land for a new build. And it's a lot of work and a lot of transitioning and things. And that's a lot of where we're in right now. So I just wanted to come on here. It's going to be a quick little live. I know there's certain people in here that are not very active, and I know other ones that are very active. So I have no idea. I know Facebook is changing things again. So who knows? I know they're going more reels, because my Facebook page is all reels now. So it is what it is. The other thing is not to get tied up in all of the craziness that is going on. Case in point, there's a lot of things going on with Facebook, aka Meta, that are causing the dynamics to be different. Like, certain things are not being seen. There are things in the background that I can't exactly explain, that they are working with groups of higher corporations and things, I must say, that are watching things and tweaking things. And I always say it's more or less I'll say a government op to be able to see how they can control people and do like a weird like Manchurian candidate thing worldwide. There are those of us on here that are light workers that counter that. We use the platform that they built to break down society to build it up. So during the shutdown, a lot of the truth seekers were being shut down and stuff on these platforms, and then they jumped over to the other platforms. So if you're familiar with the other platforms, I'm on there too. I'm not very active. I do kind of stay on here because I don't really do political or any of that stuff, because that's just, I've learned it's more of a distraction. And I'm learning now personally with the things that have happened the last 2 months to stay in my own lane. Because I was a really good manifester. Well, I guess I still am. I'm just not aware of it. When I was younger, I manifested a whole bunch of stuff when I was a kid. Just good opportunities just kept coming, and like I get a gift of this, or I'd want this, and I'd find this, and somebody would gift me that, or I needed this kind of monies for this game or whatever, and I ended up getting it. And then people and places and things. Then as I got pushed out into the real world, and don't mind my cat, she does this, she'll choke herself on the chair. And she does all the time. And I'm like, Shadow, this is Shadow, by the way. You don't have to do that all the time, kitty. Oh, you do it out of time to yourself. She's fine. She'll get over it, and she'll cough it out, and it'll be fine. But anyways, lost my train of thought because my cat's coughing in my ear. Poor kitty. You're gonna be okay. You're good. You can't keep doing that on this chair. It's so old. You're not gonna. Okay? And then she'll just sit back down and it'll happen again. I have a little thing for her in the closet that see, you can do it again. She just started again. While she beats me with her tail. So anyways, there's a lot going on. There's a lot of these once I got into the corporate world, it just kind of changed my thing because I was in retail, and a lot of the retailers, some of the other ones, you have performance reviews. So if you're not performing to what they want, and they can always raise the bar and change it on you, so you never amount to what they want, that got to me. So, hi Patricia. So basically, a lot of what's going on is, hold on, let me just check this real quick. Okay, good. It'll actually show me in here stuff. So basically what's going on is I was a manifester, and then I got into corporate, and corporate I got sucked into the ego view of my performance meant my worth. And when you want to work on your psychic gifts and you want to work on your truth, you have to be true with yourself. So you can't believe these other things like, hey, I need to perform this, and that means everything to who I am and what I believe. And if I'm not working towards that goal, I don't amount to anything. And, you know, all these things. It's one thing for personal growth, but another thing to be tied down to some kind of a system that in the background, when you're not aware, is trying to pull the strings so that you never amount to anything, and you're just doing all the work and you're not realizing that. So that kind of got to me, and then I kind of flip-flopped in between a bunch of jobs, and it was just more, the more I got into it, the more it was challenging. So now kind of I'm still in it, but I'm out of having to deal with my grandparents because they passed. I had to move into this apartment. It's just been crazy. I moved in here in March, and I've been trying to get myself situated. I needed like systems and things for me to be at my optimal. So when I had systems is when a lot of my gifts started coming online, because I wasn't super like in my ego for my survival going, how am I going to make ends meet? And, you know, where's this coming from? And being in a center black. So this has been a really interesting journey, because I'm going to be truthful in here, I've never really had to have an apartment where I had to work hardcore to keep it and have no other secondary, you know, safety nets. This is more or less, okay, you got to do this. And it's getting into my ability to manifest now because of the fact that I'm in fear base. How am I going to make the bills? How am I going to be able to do this? I needed a car. Like, I spent $500 fixing my car last week, which I wasn't planning for, and I didn't have a safety net for that. And so it was my whole entire paycheck for the 2 weeks, because I get paid every 2 weeks. And then after that, it ended up, my phone took a crap, and I got a new one now that I can do this on. And I have to pay for that now because it upped my bill for that. So there's all these other things, you know, one thing after another, you know. But at the same time, I'm learning that you have to, like, yes, I was in the ego. I'm like, oh my God, how am I going to make this work? And I started, you know, shrinking my energy, which means you're not exactly going to end up being aware of the beauty in life. You're going to think more cynical. You're going to be like, oh my God. And you pinch yourself off from source, because source is like, doesn't matter. It can come from anywhere. You can have a total stranger come in and be like, oh, here, I just wanted to gift you this amount of money. And it ends up being just enough with a little left over, or just enough to pay all your bills for that month. And then you have to be like, okay, they're all paid. It is what it is. Or the thing that I had an issue with, because I didn't have the money for rent, is that miraculously there's this guy that was all like, and I was just typing it out there and be like, I need this much money, you know, because he's like, oh, how have you been, whatever. And I wasn't going to say anything, but then afterwards I'm like, oh, well, you know, he popped up out of nowhere, so, you know, I'll go with it. And I'm like, well, this is what happened, and I really need this much to make all my bills. And sure enough, he comes over and he's like, here you go, here's some money. But with that instance, he also, there's drama associated with the back end of that, and then I'm like, oh, I shouldn't accept it because there's drama and there might be weird things, and because he likes me and I don't really want to do that, and he's separated now, and it's I don't like him like that. But then I learned, stop pinching yourself off, because you don't want to receive it for fear of a consequence, right? So we don't want to do that, and it's our natural ability for our safety. It's like our primeval autopilot. It just goes on autopilot, and you have to be like, no, simmer, center. If you can find your center in the moment and train yourself to be able to find your center in the middle of chaos, that's key. That's golden. That's what you need to do. I'm learning that. I'm still not 100%. The more you align with that in the crazy storm, like in the eye of the storm, the more your psychic gifts will start coming online. When I 3 days ago, I was just kind of not feeling good, and I'm like, okay, I don't feel good, and I need to raise my vibration, and none of the games or anything that I have here was able to do that. And I was wondering, I'm like, my rent's due, how am I going to do this? And I'm like, get out of your head, Jen, get out of your head. So what I ended up doing is I'm just walking the perimeter, because there's some woods that border the perimeter, and I'm like, I wonder what that is. And even if I'm by some woods, some natural woods without a bunch of people, my energy automatically goes up. It helps. And then I'm able to actually heal myself, which is really, really cool. Because my deviated septum, the one day after I did that, felt really, really better, and it wasn't giving me issues. The cool thing is there's like this cliff, like the terrain goes from like I'm up here and this is the bottom, so there's a sheer drop off. And I'll actually if you check, I'll put them up on my regular page. If you guys want to see them in here, I can post them in here. I might post one or two of the other ones just to lift up the group a little bit. But it's Cazenovia Creek here, and it's amazing because I sat on the precipice of that hill and I looked over at the creek that's below, and all the cliffside where all the shale was and all the different layers, and it was kind of fun. It reminded me of school. And I got out of my head of how am I going to make the bills? And I saw the beauty of nature, and nature is like my thing. Like everybody's got their thing that, you know, automatically they're good. Like finding crystals, looking for crystals or fossils, and then being out in nature is my thing. And I didn't get a lot of that for reducing my stress, because that's the key. You want to reduce your stress as much as you can. Sometimes we can't reduce it all, but we also have to be able to know that we do have the choice to change our mood based on what we believe and perceive. So going back to that idea, I was on the cliff, and then I was just looking over, and immediately I got a download of what was like, I wonder what like Lois and Clark would have looked and seen. This is basically me, them looking out through my eyes. Like I kind of like put myself like inadvertently with what they would be looking at, and how they would be walking the trails and needing the Native American help to figure out, you know, where the inclines are and the steep hills, so you don't just fall off the thing. But it was really cool because it's like, it reminded me of the bare wilderness before like humans and their drama got involved in anything. And that is pure source. That is exactly what source is. It's just like beauty. It's just like when that feeling that you get inside when you find something that like really gets you and like makes you happy. That's where you're like, oh my God. And you can just be like, and you just naturally release. And that's what I needed. So now when I get stressed out, like I can walk over there. Now, granted, it's raining now, and I don't really want to mess with stuff because it's been so dry here. The soil is all weird. And there's a lot of cedar trees. Natural cedar trees are there, which is really, really cool as well. But that's also a big key. Finding like if you have a natural running brook or something, even listening to that natural water trickle, or if you have a fountain, like I have a thing in the other room on the table that's like a water fountain thing that you have white noise when you're sleeping. She get out my, you can see her in the reflection. She's she had a little place to sit up there, and it's not there now because I was putting historical stuff away for my family, so it's kind of funny. But basically also, okay, so there was all this stuff, and now that guy came back in, and I had to remember and be like, hey, he's giving me money. This is the universe saying this is enough to pay all your bills and a little bit more, because my car needed oil as well, and I didn't know how it was going to work, and I was able to do the oil, you know, and then put a couple little bits in my savings in the other. So, I mean, all we really need is right now is if all the things are paid and we're all good, you know, we do, and we can automatically turn off that fight or flight feeling. That's what it is. You got to get out of the fight or flight feeling. And if you can gear yourself to be like not having panic attacks, and, you know, not worrying about whether there was a point like a couple of days ago where I'm like, I'm not going to make rent. It's just not going to happen. And I let go of the idea about it. I'm like, it is what it is. You know, you get to that point sometimes in these situations where you're like, there's nothing here. There's nothing in my bank account. I've got my credit cards maxed out. So I'm like, my score is in the toilet right now. And I'm like, whatever. I'm like, it is what it is. You know, I'll get my paycheck Friday for my normal work, my part-time work, and you know, that's what it is. I can't do anything. There's nothing else to do. There's no way to do anything to fix it. You know, and this whole entire time I'm like freaking out, going, oh my God, how am I going to fix this? And then the time comes and you're like, I can't. And that's when I'm like, well, it is going to be whatever. I can't worry about it. You know, and then that's when you just release it. And you can feel it, you can feel your body less tense when you're just like, well, you know, as long as I have it right now, I might as well just be like enjoying it. I don't know what the future holds. And, you know, if we stay in that view of, I don't know what the future holds, but I'm not afraid of how it's going to transpire. And I'm not tensing my body going, oh my God, I'm going to lose my house. I'm going to lose my home. I'm going to lose my car. I'm going to, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. The moment I released that is when this guy texted me randomly out of the blue. And years ago, you know, I figured he just got married. He's got a kid. You know, he texted me years ago saying, hey, you want to meet up in my town? And, you know, he's a friend of my friend that graduated with me. And I was like, okay, that's weird, but whatever. Didn't know he actually liked me. Kind of had a feeling. My gut feeling said he did. So my gut feeling said, okay, you can take this money. This is the universe giving you money. But at the same time, don't be afraid of his reactions. Because I always had this thing also going, oh my God, I don't want to accept this if he's going to be on this term where if I don't do what he wants and go out on a date with him, he's going to be like, you need to give me the money right now. And then I'm like, Jen, you're crimping your stuff again. You're causing your thing. But you'd be like, it doesn't matter. The next step could be anything. It could go here, it could go here, it could go here. You can't worry about the next step because it's not here yet. It could, with your emotions, okay. So your emotional body is like a transmitter. I'm specifically a transmitter. So that's why a lot of people, and an empath and other things, but that's why a lot of people who have issues come to me because my energy flows out and it's got my feelers out there, and then the people feel my feelers and they're like, oh my God, I'm drawn to you. Well, certain people are drawn to us for a reason. It goes back to our energy source too. So with me, I apparently am supposed to help those who are willing. That's the other thing. We can't help those who are not willing. So those people that might come to us, you know, they might think, oh, I'm drawn to you because I need something from you. But at the same time, if they're not willing to accept the help or change their ways or do whatever actions needed to get back in alignment with their higher self, then it's not going to matter. And it's okay to just be like, sorry, dude, I can't help you because you can't help yourself. You know, and that's the thing. That's what I'm learning too, because I had this idea of, oh my God, I have to save everybody from their own demise and their own wrong choices. You know, I was always a people pleaser because that's how I was able to survive. And that's another thing I'm trying to unlearn. Now it's harder to unlearn these things than to learn something new, granted, because they're habits that we've had for eons, for survival, for the human race type of stuff. So it's kind of like, okay, what are we doing? And when I get there, I'm like, no, there's nothing. He could just also, like, if I'm in the, not necessarily blissed out feeling, and I'm just like relaxed, you can feel it. Your stomach doesn't clench and your chest doesn't get tight and you're not losing breath. What you're doing is you're calm. You're breathing normally, evenly. Your muscles are very relaxed. And you don't have that feeling like you got punched in the stomach. So another thing was that I'm like, I can't worry about how he's going to react to whatever it is in the future. And if I have it, I have it. If I don't, I don't. You know, if he wants to do whatever he wants to do, that's fine. But granted, he ended up giving this to me when he's separated with his wife and didn't tell his wife about it. So I don't think that there's going to be an issue there, but it's not up to me to figure that out. What the universe did is I have to see it as the universe gave me funds from an unknown source that I wasn't aware of to pay my bills for now. Next month, who knows? This coming month, I don't know. This is why I'm coming on here and doing all these other things too, because there's also different avenues that financial security can come. Ironically, another one of the ladies that I used to know just messaged me and said if I wanted to start being an ambassador for Color Street again. And I was all like, wow, that's weird because seconds ago, like an hour ago, I was thinking, oh, I wonder what happened with that color street. If I could, I was going to go with a friend of mine who was going to be doing that and doing my other MLM, which is my Young Living. And I was going to sign up with her, but she was never really talking to me and figuring stuff out. So I'm like, okay, I might as well put myself out there. Because that's another thing, being able to put yourself out there and say, hey, this is a product I have for sale. This is a product that I'm providing you for service, and you're going to give me, or going to provide me back financial security for it. But I can't be afraid of putting that out there, because that also means that I'm not ready to receive it back. Because if I'm not, case in point, okay, there's this hutch that I have at my house, well, my old house, and we're trying to get rid of it for the estate sale, right, or the estate. And there's a whole nother big crap with that. The point is, I can put it up on Facebook Marketplace if I wanted to sell it. And I haven't done it for a while because I'm too afraid of what people it's going to generate and all the drama. So I'm going to put it up and be like, okay, this is what it is. This is how much I want. You have to come in and, take it apart and remove it on your own. It's all the buyer's responsibility. But I haven't done it because I'm like, there's still that fear which means I'm not fully able to fully receive. So if I put it out there and just be like in that whole zen of like, it doesn't matter what the future holds, whatever, just put it out there. That's when I can start my other businesses kicking back and giving me financial income. Because by doing that, I'm saying, hey, the universe is like, you have this big thing. You can sell it for a monetary amount, regardless of what it is, or you can provide a service and give it, if nobody wants to buy it, give it for free to get it out of the house for somebody else, regardless of what it's going to do for you personally. Because sometimes it's not about what it does for us personally, it's about serving other people, and then that comes back to us. I know it's hard when you're in a financial strain and you're like, I need the money now, because that's all you're thinking. You're like, how am I going to pay the bills? But when you're in that sense, you're still in lack, which means you're tight and you're not accepting. You're the siphon for being able to get financial abundance through is really limited. And the universe has to work twice if not 3 times as much harder to try to organize things to get to you in that specific funnel. Because if it's coming this way and it's easier to go this way, the universe is like, well, you don't want it that way, so I have to take double the time to try to get it into this little thing here so that you can get it here, instead of being like, oh no, it's okay, I'll just get it anyway. Any which way the universe wants to send it. And I don't care what it looks like, as long as it ends up getting me one step closer to my goal, which might be paying my rent, getting a roof over my head, paying for the internet so I can do this stuff, putting myself out there for my essential oil biz and my color street biz, these types of things that we might be like, oh my God, how am I going to look? Oh my God, somebody's going to, hack my account or do this or that or whatever. We can't be afraid of all that, because that fear is just still, whatever. Oh, if I say the wrong thing, this is the other thing. If I say the wrong thing, then I'll be blocked. Now, granted, if you want to go that way and kind of poke the bear, that's one thing. But if you're smart about it, you tend to release, the fine line to walk. Because I've had people on here that have gotten blocked hardcore. I've actually got recently some people that were selling in a group and ended up having their website got hacked. Their whoever is hosting their website ended up changing permissions, and then they ended up coming in the back door and then messing with their whole entire thing. But like she said, she's like, well, because she was really upset. She was like ready to cry, and she wasn't a crier and stuff. And she was like, I don't know what to do. This is not my income. This is, she's got her husband who does other jobs and stuff. So she's not fully, out, but she's just like, I can't get in there. I'm so upset. I can't believe this happened the second time after 3 years or whatever. And then she actually, said, I'm just going to go take time for me. Because she's like, I was supposed to do card readings for you guys, and I'm not doing it in the energy that I have, finding out all this stuff, because it's not fair to you guys. And it was true. She knew that she had to be in the right energy to deliver the message for it to get through to the higher selves of the people that she was talking to, which is our group. And then she went and got crystal therapy, which is retail therapy. So she bought a bunch of crystals, which is kind of like what I do. Or I'll go in nature. But basically, that's what got her back into alignment, because she had to step away from the consequences of what would happen with her website being down, her financial links like PayPal and stuff. Nobody can get anything from her Etsy shop because it's all linked through her business name, whatever it is. And she does WordPress. Her website's through WordPress. So she, it was like, I have to do all this stuff again, blah, blah. She actually had to remove the one website she had years ago because it was just too hard to remake it. Excuse me, ginger ale. So basically, the whole idea of being able to advance your psychic gifts also aligns with you being in alignment with your true self and feeling joyful. It's all about changing the way you feel. Now, with me being a transmitter, I have the ability to change how I feel like that. And it changes the environment that I'm in, and it also affects the people that I'm around. Now, if I go into a room and somebody's in a funky mood, and then all of a sudden there's really not much there, like it's a really like low energy, I will feel that right away, and I'll be like, oh my god, I feel like crap. But I'm like, I don't want to feel like crap. So then I'll find something, I'll remember something, a memory or something, or I'll focus on something that'll bring me back up. Now lately there's been a lot of that stuff that brought me down, but I also do know about seasons. And sometimes we have to be in that emotional season and that spot to be able, if it's us ourselves right here with dealing with life, so we can learn a lesson and see the pattern that was putting us in lack, or something that we weren't aware of, that we had, like, say, rose-colored glasses on that we were ignorant to or we didn't want to believe was true. And so then we're like, I have to feel these feelings because I have to process the fact that I feel vulnerable, I feel betrayed, I feel like anything else like that. Like, I feel like my identity is not who I am anymore. I gotta reinvent myself, and that's hard and scary, and I don't know if I can do that type of stuff. And I'd rather just feel blah and be like, I'm, and then you spiral down into other things which you don't want to do. So if that ends up happening, then basically what I remember doing is I'm like, no, I always remember I am in control of my emotions. If I'm feeling like crap because of something in my external world, then you know what? I can change that. I can change how I feel. That's the thing that I do have control over. I can be like, no, I'm not going to be feeling and having a pity party for myself here. I'm going to take my little kudos and my freaking pull up my big girl pants, and I'm going to freaking be like, no, emotions, you don't get the show. You don't get to run the show. I do. And I'm putting, it's like that Disney movie when the emotions are on the keyboard thing and they're messing with the human and the girl. And then the one joy comes in, and then she's like, no, I'm going to do this now. We're going to have joy. But then they realize that they're all important. There's a reason for why we have all of them. And the best way is for all of them to work together as a team. And everybody's got their own time during whatever, So Disney's very good with this stuff, but Disney's also compromised too, by the way. Because that's a lot of where a lot of the females get their views on what love is and all the stuff, which is not reality. So anyways, I'm going to get off because it's 12:38 and I kind of been out here for a little bit. I don't exactly know how long. 28 minutes and 35 seconds, which is cool because this group one shows me what the time is. And I'm going to let you guys mull over this information. I've got much more to explain later. But the cool thing is just mainly find something that brings you happiness, that maybe reminds you of something. Like, I also have this gigantic crystal amethyst here that was from my grandmother. And granted, I had it in the sun, and I'm like, no, let's not. It was a lot brighter before we had it in the sun because amethyst fades in the sun. Oh, and also, I forgot about that. Ooh, I also just got my certification. So I ended up becoming a CCP now. So this is really, really cool. Because the girl I was working through was Hibiscus Moon, and I finished the certified crystal practitioner. Woohoo! So now I am officially a certified crystal practitioner. So I can do crystal readings, and I can prescribe crystal, whatever, melody, things that you can do to help yourself out. Now, the cool thing about that's also why the finances were there and cause and effect thing. I am working on my master's on that now too, which is awesome. So after I do that, then it'll be really, really awesome, and I'll be able to have income secondary with this. But it's also being able to get myself out there, even if I'm not perfect and things like that. I also am reading a book called The Celestian Prophecy. It was written in 1993. It is all about these 9 insights that this one character goes on. He ends up being plopped in the middle of this whole entire thing. It's fictional. It's based after some information, but it's basically a fictional adventure. Basically, the writer James Redfield is really good. He's really cool. The stuff in there, I read it a while back. I read it in like 2000 when I was in school, and I saw it in the library, and I'm like, what's this all about? Hence it says Celestian, so I thought it was like crystals or something, and prophecy. I was always into those kind of cipher type books and all like that kind of stuff. And so I started reading it, and I couldn't get into it. I was just like, I don't understand this, but that's okay, whatever. But at the time, I was also reading Sylvia Browne. So Sylvia Browne seemed to be a little better for me. And also, I ended up getting, instead of this actual book, I ended up getting the A Celestian Prophecy, A Personal Journey, which I didn't realize what that was. But it's basically a journal prompt for each chapter, which is each insight is about each chapter is about each insight, the 9 insights. Then he goes on and writes some more. It's like the 10th one, and another one like Shambhala, which is an ancient civilization all about unity and whoever, I don't know if anybody's aware of what that is, but you can explain it. You guys can post too if you want. I'll see it, and you guys can do that. And I'd like more information and more activity in the group too, if you guys want. So. But anyways, that ended up being that. Then there was also the 12th Insight, which is the one that was just recently done, too. So I got some, and a movie. The movie's there, too. So the movie's actually kind of cool. Whenever the movie comes in, I am going to watch it, because it's really cool. But the main thing is, this starts off with the idea of the first insight being coincidences. And then after the human race is more and more realized that these are not coincidences, there's more to it, then they go to the second insight. And the second insight basically is that if there are coincidences and things like that, there must be a higher power in place. And then they go into that, and then it goes on and on and on, which is really, really cool. So I was reading this and going, oh my God, this is exactly what's going on with me. All these coincidences that come up, the reason why things happen the way they do. And now I'm also realizing, without my grandparents around and without my younger brother, there's a lot of things that being around those people and having their energy around me, I'm able to feel my own energy now. So I'm more aware of the nuances in my energy, and how when I go and interact with other people, how I'm like, wow, that feels really different. So I'm very tactile, I'm very feely. So if I get upset or something, I'll want something soft to touch. And more than likely, if I was younger, I'd probably end up being classified as autistic, if you want to go that way. But my cousin's got Asperger's and stuff. But mainly, when you have these classifications, it also is a hint that these individuals are highly, highly attuned to the higher 5D realms and higher, and know, more about that, and they retain more of that in their human body and their pineal line and things, and they can educate the rest of humanity. And that's what we're all doing. We all have our different, our specific avenue, or I don't even know what the word is explained. The thing that we are here to offer the world. So we have our specific gift, I'd say, to help. We just got to find it and remember it, so that we can share it with the world. Now, with me, I know I'm a healer. I know I'm into that stuff. That's why I did the crystal practitioner, because I know I love crystals, and I do Reiki. I'm Reiki attuned as well. So I can combine all those, because actually when I was doing the previous one, it was hard for me not to do Reiki because it was just an automatic when I was doing the crystal thing. But now with the masters that I can get on, that is awesome. I'm also getting a certification for angel readings as well. So all these different things that I'm doing that I have fun and I enjoy are also realigning me, and I'm stepping into holistic world because I'm starting to be like not afraid of how other people are going to view me, because yeah, that's me. This is who I am. I cannot sit and be in a invisible blanket anymore with my gifts and just pretend that I'm going to walk in the world like I have been and be like, oh, well, I'm just going to blend in with you guys. I've learned, being so many years now in retail, that the outside 9-to-5 world is not for me. I can go in there and I can, rev up and explain things to people, but with the way these corporations are built, it's way too 3D and it's all breaking down anyways. So it's not going to last. These way we get our food is not going to last. We're going to have to start doing things you're already seeing it across the board. Your own gardens, your internal gardens. New York State now, where I live, is starting to do they're kind of like California. They're trying to do all of this no pollution type thing because of the greenhouse gases and things, and how the ozone layer and all that stuff. So we're not going to be able to have any gas cars here. They're not going to be able to sell them or produce them in 2035. And before that, right now, from now until 2024, they're not going to have any new gas to any houses. There's not going to have, I forgot what it was called. Let me see if I can bring it up. Oh, wait, no, that's not what I want. Let's see here. I got a thing from our senator about it. So let me just scroll on. Sorry. So yeah, it's all stuff that's basically helping you not put pollutions into the air, but at the same time helping. I had it the other day and I might have deleted it. I thought I kept it though. See, what happened is when I had to get... See, it says NYSEG, which is electric. And they were talking about everything going electric. Like your gas... I can't find it now, but your gas stoves are not going to be anything anymore. Any new build is just going to have electric. And electric cars. Like in my town, I'm seeing a lot more Tesla cars. And those ones, you have to use your phone to open your thing. And my phone died the other day, so I'm like, I don't know if I believe in that. I'm like, I don't know. So this is where we're heading. We're heading, and the other thing is, with these technologies and everything running on electricity, they're realizing also that there's a lot of stuff run on energy. Like this kind of energy, like your energy, this, not like electric poles or anything like that. But there's also that whole thing with 5G and things like that too that are coming around. So you definitely, like, I'm wearing this to offset technology. And my phone, on the back of the phone, it's got Sugilite, because that's what this is, Sugilite. It's really good for EMF protection. So there's a lot of things like that going on, and it's just going to keep going, because we're at the precipice of another eon, I guess, or whatever. Another decade of new inventions, new advancements, and stuff. We realized that the shutdown brought out a lot of things that were not of alignment with source, and that there were things going on in the background. And there's a lot of that's going on. A lot of the craziness that you're seeing on the news, if you still follow the news, is because people don't know what to do with the new knowledge that they're bringing. Their identity's breaking down. They don't realize they're so lost in the void. They've lost their connection to source. They feel abandoned by both their families, their society, culture in general, everything, that they're just spinning out of control. And when you have that, it's because they were in denial for so long and tied up so deeply into what the Matrix wanted them to believe. It is kind of like Neo when he comes out and he just bursts. He's like, you know. But this is different because now people have guns and they're fighting back on this. And you'll see more and more of that bubble up to the surface like a volcano. It's got to go somewhere. So, you know, it's always been there, but it's just been hidden. And now there's a lot more push because people don't know how to deal with that new energy that's coming in, because the sun is bringing in a lot more energy, telling people, hey, you need to get right with yourself. There's no more of this ignoring your truth, because that doesn't exist anymore. All these things, they're falling down. You don't have to worry about all these structures now. Let's focus on you and getting your structure up and going so you can help society, and that we can all be in a better place with better foundations that are more aligned with source, and everybody as a unity and as, you know, love in the center of it. So, you'll see a lot more of that kind of craziness going on. I've heard from some of my other friends that I've showed in here, the different predictions of further breakdown of 3D energies and platforms out there. More and more, if this electric stuff keeps going, then more than likely the servers are going to need to be advanced. There's going to be more demand for electric panels, things like that. You know, I noticed some of them in here, they're bringing out some of that Verizon updates for the high-speed stuff too. There's also a bunch of little Dollar General stores popping up constantly around here, because Dollar General, the corporation, is making it more like every corner you had, when back in the day was a convenient around here. So they're trying to jump on this new bandwagon. Other things are, you know, there's a lot of new bills that are really expensive and things like that, and people are like, I don't know. But then people need to learn how to be able to make abundance and financial security by doing something that they actually love, because that'll continue to generate the abundance. Now, if you go to a work job just to make a paycheck and you're living paycheck to paycheck, like most of us are programmed to do, and have been doing for 15, 20, 25, 30, 40, 60, 80 years, depending on who you are and how long. It's going to be harder the longer you've been in the system to break free of it, because it's a habit. It takes 30 days to break a habit, but 90 days to form a new one and to acclimate to it and have that new one become, you know, your new habit. So this is also what I'm going to do. I'm trying to do this too in between my part-time job over there and trying to get stuff done. So also, if any of you ladies are into essential oils or whatever, we can do that. Head over to my other group on that. You can find all the information on my page. If you like essential oils, if you like nails and you're all on the Color Street, I'll have a page for that. I'll open my thing back up if you're interested in that. If not, that's fine. I'm not doing any of that here, because this is not the place for that. This is the place for talking about spiritualism and stuff, but in order to be into abundance, we have to put the thing out there and have abundance all the way around. So anyway, the more I try to actually, when I'm in that mode, do a live. But because of everything going on, it's just been kind of crazy, and trying to reset myself here, I'm like, ooh, and I'm not used to neighbors and distractions and little kids screaming and things. So I gotta find a quieter place where I can deliver the message. But by the time we get to the quieter place, it's just kind of like, what was the message again? I don't know. So it's kind of funny too, because we're sitting outside and the apartment above me has got a huge ass thing that is for the air conditioner, and it'll go and it's super loud. So I was gonna go over there and do it, but I think maybe if I get time and it's better weather, which it looks like it will be later on, I might do some lives from that nature thing. I will post the one picture in here of me by the creek and the creek side, because it's really, really cool, and I think you will all enjoy it. But for right now, I'm gonna get off. It is now 12:54, and I've had this on for about an hour now. I wasn't expecting it to go that long, to be honest, but this is usually what happens with me. And people say I'm long-winded, but I don't care. I gotta get the information out there. Hey, Janine. So anyways, there's a lot of information. If you're just catching it now, go and watch the replay. Do hashtag replay if you're into that or whatever, so that I know who's seen this and who hasn't. And then after that, I'll be doing more as I go forward, because I need to get training into doing this, because then it helps my other avenues, because I got to get out there. I got to explain what's going on, because that's what I did before. And then I got so wrapped up in taking care of my grandfather when he was elderly and things, towards the end there, when he was incontinent and stuff, and it was just super stressful on me and things. And then my younger brother passes, and it's just like crazy. So that's what it's going to be. The more I just align with myself. And the other thing too is I know that I have enjoyment playing my PlayStation 4, and I'm a dork. I get this. So playing my Witcher, or going and playing like Skyrim Live when I was on my computer before and doing Skyrim Live, and having the subscription for that, that was really cool. I liked that because I liked being able to see that kind of internal environment and things. So you're like in the thing, and you're like, oh my god, I'm immersed in like this nature, this beautiful elven village or whatever, with all these pretty things that I like, crystals and shiny things. And then, you know, or like just listening to my videos, or playing Hatchlings. You know, I haven't played Hatchlings in a while, and I'm into that. You know, all these other things that I've put off. Coloring. I have these coloring, the adult coloring books, and I haven't, you know, started coloring them, because I'm like, I don't know. I've got all this responsibility. I got to find this. I got to make sure this is paid. I got to do this and this and this. And that tied me down. And if I can just constantly take at least an hour of my day every day, regardless of whether it's in the morning, at night when I come home from work, or whatever, to focus on what makes me happy, and not focusing on what's going on wrong in the world, because that's a big thing too. So mainly your first step is to start focusing on what makes you happy, because the more you have that feeling of joy, that feeling of like laughing and like yes, the more you're in alignment with source and abundance and manifestation. 2, once you get into that position, keep it up. Keep doing that and training yourself that this is how I normally live, and this is the state of being I want to be living in constantly, no matter what's happening around me. And constantly be doing that day in and day out, and work on it. If you need to journal about it. You know, getting stuff down on paper, getting it out of your body. If you need to cry about it. Like, that's me. I've noticed with me being Pleiadian descendant type stuff, crying is a release for me. And I don't normally cry, and that's where I can feel myself tensing up, because I was brought up with girls don't. I was brought up with guys, you know, for one, and then they're like, oh, girls don't cry. You don't need that. Just, you know, suck it up and just be like, whatever. But you have to honor that part of you that felt vulnerable, that felt abused, that felt not seen or heard, because that's why when you don't do that, you see all these people going crazy on the outside world. You see all these incidences of this violence and the guns and all the things, because they're not being heard. They're not. Now, granted, some of them are just cuckoo gone, so we just pray for them and give them love and light and hope that they pass, you know, onto the other side, wherever they come from, and are cocooned and healed from their trauma and traumatic life experiences here. Because everybody, even the ones that are like psychotic and did mass murders and things like that, even those individuals do have a spark. They are part of the source. So we cannot say that, you know, that little part of us. I mean, because we've all probably had a feeling of, oh, you know, somebody does something wrong to you, and you start thinking, oh, if I could only be like blah, 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 blah. You know, we've had bad thoughts, and we don't act on them, because that tells you apart from other people. But the fact that everybody, even the light workers do it. If you don't, or if you've never had one like that, good for you. But at the same time, you know, it's a base instinct. It's a survival thing. You can't deny your survival instincts. That's part of you. So it means you're denying you. That means you're denying source, because you are source. So you see how it compounds? So anyways, 3, your third action step is basically to keep an eye out on when you're in those situations that crap's going on, to be able to remove yourself from the feelings, from the idea of, oh my god, how am I going to make rent, or oh my god, those kind of feelings, and put yourself back into alignment with something different, however small it is, to see the silver lining, to see like, what is this pattern that it's bringing up? Why am I having this situation happen in my life? What is it that I'm denying inside myself that could be causing this outward manifestation? Because that's the other thing too. Micro to macro. You have to start inside before you can see it develop in your outside world. So knowing your truth, having confidence in yourself and in your abilities, and knowing who you are, and not being ashamed to show it. And I know I've been doing this, and I've been saying it, but I haven't been doing it myself. So this is another lesson for me to do that too. All right, it's 1 o'clock and I'm going to get off, and I will talk to you guys later. Sorry for this being an hour long, but yeah, I will see you guys on the flip side then. All right, so it's been about 50 minutes and so many seconds. So I will talk to you guys later. All right, have a good day. Namaste and blessings.